Hey everybody, my name is Ed, New School Comics. Okay, I kind of messed up last weekend. I meant to put up a video of the comics I bought over the previous 2 weeks, but I just kind of messed up and didn't get to it. So today I'm going to try to get this video up this weekend. I'm going to show you comics I bought in the last 3 weeks, okay? And I'll try not to make this video too long. So we'll just jump into it. So first we have Fight Club number 2, or Fight Club 2 number 7. Thought this comic was okay. It seems like it's kind of treading water as far as where it's going plot wise and the themes and stuff. So, but I'm still pretty interested in it. So, keep on with that. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur number 1. I thought it was okay. I didn't like it as much as I wanted to, but I thought it was a decent start. So I'm gonna give it probably the first arc, unless it like falls off really quick. But it's kind of charming, kind of sweet. So yeah. Dark Tower, the drawing of 3, number 3 of 5, an adaptation of a Stephen King story. I kind of liked it, really intrigued. It's another one of these comic books I'm surprised doesn't get more press and more promotion. Maybe because the Dark Tower story series has been doing so well for Marvel, they figured they don't need to promote it more. But I really think they should. But this was fun. Black Magic number 2, Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott. Interesting. Danger Girl Renegade number 2. It's fun, clean lines, kind of lighthearted, not really deep, but I enjoyed it. Empowered Special by Adam Warren. It's kind of funny because this is a character that kind of started out as a jokey TNA character and kind of a parody sort of thing that he was doing for a while. And it kind of still is, but there's all kinds of like in jokes about how the character wants to be thought of as a little bit more than that. So it was kind of funny, not deep or anything, but entertaining for what it was. Fade Out number 11. I think we're almost done. I think it's only going to 12 issues, 12 or 13 issues. So we're just about at the conclusion here. Dark Knight 3, The Master Race number 1. Kind of an interesting comic. You got a really interesting package here with the heavy paper and the slick production values. You got some nice art here from Adam Kubert. Really cool coloring and everything. And then, of course, you have the sort of mini comic on the inside. Excuse me. That has actual Frank Miller art. So it's interesting. It's interesting. It's not bad. I think DC has kind of reined Frank in a little bit after All-Star Batman and Robin. I'm actually kind of curious because Frank actually did finish the script for All-Star Batman and Robin, and supposedly Jim Lee was going to finish drawing it, but they never did. So I don't know why they canceled it. I don't know if Jim Lee just couldn't fit into his schedule with his new duties at DC, or if DC just changed their mind, because even though All-Star Batman and Robin sold really well, there was also a lot of controversy around it. So I don't know. So here, and like I said, this is less out there. It's still kind of out there, but it's less out there than All-Star Batman and Robin was. So I don't know. I'll probably buy the next issue, but depending on how I feel about the next issue, I may or may not continue buying it. It is a $6 comic book, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. So, but okay. Let's see here. So then, following week, I got all new, all different Avengers #2. Thought it was fun. You got again nice art from Adam Kubert. It's still the origin story of getting together the band for the all new Avengers, but you see most of the team pretty much coming together. Oh wait, I'm looking for the cool shot here. Oh, here. So here they all are together. Female Thor hasn't joined yet, but you still have most of the gang. Not groundbreaking. It's actually, I don't want to call it, it's pretty basic, but it's basic done by professional guys that know what they're doing. So it actually kind of has that sort of old school classic feel, if you will. So it's okay. Okay. Cyborg number 5. This is the Looney Tunes variant. Um, what do I want to say about this comic? I like it, but I don't love it. Even though it's doing a lot of things that I want a Cyborg comic to be, I like how they're really playing up the science fiction elements. I like that they're giving Vic kind of a life outside of the Justice League. I like how they're giving him, love interest. I like how they're giving him friends outside of the league. And I like all that stuff, but overall, the comic is just okay. It's not super stupendous. So, yeah. I'll be interested. Obviously, I'm going to read it to this arc. I'll try out the next arc to see where they go from there. So, okay. Prez #5. It's kind of a funny comic book. I enjoy it a little bit. Well, it's okay. It's okay for what it is. They're trying to do this sort of kind of political satire and social satire and lots of parody and whatnot. And they're trying to do it in such a way that it's not, in my mind, stridently left wing and not stridently conservative, although they kind of do poke fun at, well, I'd say they kind of poke fun at both sides of the political spectrum. In this particular issue, they have the main character actually going on an apology tour, and there's this whole sort of plot line going on with people having the cat flu and big pharmaceutical companies and killer drones and killer robots, I should say. And it's one of these things that it's set in the future, but they're obviously spoofing things that are going on now. There's a character in here called Boss Smiley that seems to be kind of a shout out to the Boss Smiley character in the Prez story they did in the issue of Sandman back in the 90s. So it's interesting. It's interesting. All right. Midnighter #7. I thought it was okay. It was kind of fun. You had a kind of crazy plot twist last issue where we find out the guy that Midnighter is dating is actually Prometheus, who was a 90s Justice League of America villain. And I don't know. You get like pretty okay fight scenes or whatnot. It's not a bad comic book. I'm interested enough in the title to see where it goes from here. Paper Girls #3. Really like this comic. I'm not too sure how it can go, how far it can go. Oh, set in the 80s, so here's a Ronald Reagan cameo. Somebody's actually basically having a dream sequence here. I think I mentioned it before, but I really, really love this art by Cliff Chang. And these colors are the colors just really sell it. But Oh, this is a funny thing. The Ronald Reagan cameo. A few years ago, people were talking about Obama being in like all the comics when he, won the election and stuff. But back in the '80s, Reagan was all over comics. He's all over like indie comics. He's all over Marvel. He's all over DC. He's with the Justice League. He's with Falcon. He's with John Sable. He's got his own comic, Reagan's Raiders and stuff like that. So I don't know. It just made me think of that. All right. Doc Strange #3. It's okay. Again, the art sells it for me more than anything else. I think there's a little bit of elements of supposedly things going on with magic that I think are going to bleed over into the Scarlet Witch story. But we'll see. We'll see. Uh, what is this? Oh, this is previews for Titan Comics. Assassin's Creed? I don't know. I'm not a gamer, so I don't know anything about it. Kung Fu Panda, Peanuts. These look like some fantasy comics. Tank Girl. Motherfuckers. Alright, good. Some more stuff. Oh, Doctor Who. I'm not big into Doctor Who, but I know there's lots of people out there who are Doctor Who fans, so. The Doctor Who I remember was the guy from the 80s with the scarf. Tom Baker, I think his name was. Okay, and here are the comics I got from this week. Okay, Scarlet Witch #1. Let's see here. What do I want to say about this comic? I like the writing. I like the idea of them trying out a Scarlet Witch series where she's a solo star and she has a purpose beyond just being an Avenger or just being a supporting character or an ensemble character. I hope they don't make the same mistake that they made with Storm's comic. I think the mistake they made with Storm's comic is they didn't really build a world around the character. In this particular comic, you do see, the ghost of Agatha Harkness shows up, so I'm sure she's going to be a character, so to speak. And there's kind of a homicide detective that Wanda kind of meets up with. But yeah, I really think what you really need to do when you have a solo star, I don't think it's just enough to have that one character in the comic. You need to give them supporting cast, give them a direction, give them, villains of their own and stuff. And like I said, I hope they don't make the same mistake they did with Storm, where it was like an okay comic, but it didn't really seem like it had a purpose other than just here's Storm in a comic. You know what I mean? And I think they're doing an interesting thing here where they're going to have different artists every issue. So we'll see how that works. I think that's an interesting experiment. The art in this issue kind of really wasn't my thing. I thought it was a little sketchy and a little bit scratchy, and I really didn't buy into it. But we'll see. We'll see how that works. Okay. Ultimates 2. Thought it was okay. There was an interesting thing where the new Ultimates have a meeting with Galactus and they attempt to cure him. I'm not going to tell you exactly how that went. Actually, we really don't know how exactly it went. It seems like, well, I don't want to give it away. But I kind of get the feeling, well, I don't know. I don't know what I want to say about this because basically I have a whole feeling, a whole opinion, I should say, about what I think Galactus is and how he fits into the Marvel universe. And the thing is, Galactus is not just some big guy, you know. It's been established that Galactus is actually a sentient force of nature, and he actually fulfills an important role. And if Galactus actually does die or its nature changes, you're actually screwing with the physics of the Marvel universe, you know, of life and death and things like that. But this is only the second issue, so you know we'll see what's in store. But other than that, I thought it was a well done issue. I like the way the characters are handled. I like the pacing and everything. So okay. Starfire 7. I skimmed through it. I want to give it another careful read. I was going to kind of drop the comic, but I didn't just because Dick Grayson is in this, and I was just kind of curious as to see how they're going to handle the Dick Grayson Starfire relationship. Because of course, you know, as you know, back in the old days, pre 52, they were, you know, serious. They had a serious relationship going on, and now the new 52 is kind of fuzzy on how much of the old canon still works with the new universe and stuff like that. But okay. Prez 6. More stuff with the cat fever or the cat flu. More stuff with one of the drone sentry robots who has developed artificial intelligence and thinks of itself as a normal person and wants to be called Tina. And there's more stuff with big pharmacy and the corporations. There's stuff where the people of America has turned against President Beth, and more wacky hijinks and fun. Alright. Other things I got that I haven't gotten around to is I got Twilight Children #3, and I also got Monstrous #2. I skimmed through it. I didn't give it a careful read, but I really like this comic. It really caught me by surprise. Like I said before, it's really not my thing, but I really like this art. I like the world building. I like the different types of elements they're drawing on. Obviously, it's kind of the whole fantasy thing, but it looks like they're drawing in elements of anime and manga and folklore and science fiction, and it's just crazy. It's crazy, but it's very intriguing. And you know, of course, you have this female-centric cast, and yeah, I pretty much like it. Ooh, this is creepy. Okay, so that's it. I've got one other video that's in a can right now that I'll probably air in the next few days, or I'll definitely get to it sometime during the next week. And I have another idea for a video that I'll probably shoot either later today or tomorrow. And depending on how it turns out, I might actually upload that one first. Okay, but that's it. I got to thank everybody for listening, and you have a great day.